Hi, how you doing? I'm Bob Sorensen, Chief Analyst for Quantum Computing. Going to give you a quick overview about what we see going on in the global quantum computing market. Based on a data-driven market forecast that we do, and last year we did a survey of about 145 different respondents from quantum computing suppliers around the world, 18 different countries, representing 108 different quantum computing companies. We project that the global quantum computing market, estimated to be worth about $770 million US in 2023, with an annual growth rate out to 2025 of about 25.3%. And the key here is that the title of this talk was steady and reliable, reasonable growth, and that's really what we're seeing. Some of the early days, the early hype of quantum computing has really moderated, settled down, much more realistic expectations about timeframes, about concerns with quantum winter, and if the technology was overpromising and under-delivering. We're seeing some really incremental, steady growth from both the supply and, more importantly, uptake from quantum computing early adopters and related end users. If we look at how the market is going to probably break out in 2025 by major algorithm types, we see, have we seen in the last few years, what we are calling now the big three in quantum end use: modeling and simulation, optimization, AI, machine learning, deep learning, and some speculation about applicability to large language models is being discussed. But fundamentally, those are the big three, with some other um, smaller, less prioritized application spaces, cybersecurity, Monte Carlo processes, and some others. But the bottom line is those big three have been and seem to continue to be the three major algorithm drivers of what's going to generate revenue. These numbers were generated based on the survey. So this is how quantum computing supplier base sees their ultimate markets breaking down in the next few years. I want to make that point very clear, because when we asked about QC access methods, about um, from in terms of accessing quantum computing hardware, the quantum computing vendor community said the revenues will mostly come in the next few years by QC capabilities delivered through a cloud access model. There'll be some, about 21% of revenues will come from on-prem capabilities, and certainly hybrid quantum classical divided between an on-prem capability and a cloud access model will be about 17%. The key here, though, really is that the low barriers to entry to access quantum computing capability through a cloud access model has really made it very easy for a number of end users seeking to see if quantum is something that they can use to drive, to accelerate their existing computational workloads, or offer the potential for new applications that are unique only to quantum. They can kick the tires, they can test it without having to commit to the purchase of a large, expensive quantum system, or commit to a single vendor, or commit even to a handful of vendors. The ability to jump back and forth through cloud access models, either directly through a vendor, through a CSP such as Amazon or Azure, or through a cloud integrator, if you will, such as StrangeWorks or QCwares, means that there's a lot of opportunity here for kicking the tires on quantum. When we asked these quantum computing suppliers where they saw the most promising end use sectors, financial R&D in the quantum computing sector, it's a nascent technology. It needs to test its own capabilities to further whatever particular research agenda any individual slice in the stack may have. Hardware guys need access to software. Software guys need access to hardware. Those are the top ones. But what is most interesting is when we offered all of these options for end user sectors that seem to be most promising, we saw that almost every vendor saw that there was applicability in some different sector that we suggested. And so here, the key takeaway here is that there is broad applicability envisioned by the vendors to take those algorithms, optimization, mod sim, and artificial intelligence, and use them across a broad range of sectors. Uh, Not to concentrate entirely on what's going on in the supplier side, we also did some early adopter studies that yielded some really fascinating results. We had to reach out to about 485 organizations, primarily HPC based, to find 300 quantum computing early adopters, which really surprised us how much early adoption work is going on in the space. And this includes both, not both, includes academia, commercial, and government end users. We found that about 34% are exploring options and monitoring the technology, 26% are actually conducting use case analysis, and 14% are engaging what they define as production use. Again, these are most likely through low cost, perhaps pay as you go cloud access models, not the kind of production in the traditional classical sense where you buy a big system and put it in the basement. But again, the interest and and desire to test quantum computing to see what its applicability is in an existing workload is a very widespread phenomena among the early end users of quantum systems. One of the interesting things is the greatest hurdle to quantum adoption was time and time again, we've seen this for the last few years, complexities with integrating quantum computing into an existing IT infrastructure technical side and clearly demonstrating quantum computing return on investment, the economic side. But for the quantum computing early adopters we talk to, very positive outlooks on what the technology is capable of doing. More than half are looking at continuing measured quantum computing early adopter activities. One third actually see aggressive budget commitments to pursuing the technology, and only a very small number, 1 in 50, indicates some disillusionment with the technology. Some closing thoughts here I just want to throw out. National sovereignty concerns are on the rise in quantum computing sector and could become invasive to the progress of the sector writ large. Right now, this is a global phenomenon. Researchers are all around the world sharing results. Companies are proliferating in terms of maybe being headquartered in country X, but having offices or partners in country X, Y, Z, and A, B. The idea of national security concerns that may put up some walls, some barriers, is something that may actually slow down process of the technology, something that we're concerned about. Quantum computing professional services will continue to be a critical factor in all this. The divide between quantum computing suppliers that don't really yet have the expertise to talk to verticals and verticals that don't really yet have the expertise to talk details with quantum computing suppliers are going to need some professional services to help bridge those gaps. As an HPC, large government procurements could alter the technology of the sector. Um, we're already seeing cases where decisions are being made, winners and losers in both corporate and technology decisions are being made because governments are committing funding to the procurement of systems, and they have a large and very pervasive impact on where the sector is going today that could have a large effect on the overall trajectory of the systems. And again, continual concerns about will the VC community stay here? Will the VC community become completely enamored with large language models and abandon quantum? We don't see that yet, but it's always a continued concern and something we're going to keep track of as the sector moves forward. Well, that's really all I have to say about quantum. If you have any more questions, I have an email address here and such you could reach out. Otherwise, thanks for listening in today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the presentations.